So we watched Prey together,
Yes, we did.
and you had never seen the original Predator.
No.
You had never seen really any of the Predators, right?
I had. It had just been a very long time ago.
Yeah, but you saw probably like one of the updated ones, like Predators.
Maybe.
I think so. But you never saw the Arnold one.
I don't think so.
Right. Okay. So we watched Prey, and it's really probably the worst movie we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
I mean, think about, like, the girl didn't change. The main character never changed. Nothing changed about her. She started off wanting to be a hunter and wanted to be like the guys, and then did everything she possibly could to become this hunter.
Yeah.
And in the process of that, all the guys died.
Trying to save her.
Yeah.
Right. 'Cause she was too stubborn to just stay home
Yeah.
and do women things, which respect. But at the same time,
respect, but also,
yeah.
like the only people who changed were the men.
Right.
The men didn't want her to go hunting with them.
Right.
And then at the end, they went out to find her.
Right.
They're like, well, God, she's crazy. She went out on her own. She's probably lost. We'll go help her.
Right. Well, that's what
and then in the process, they all died.
Right. And like we talked about, it would have been better if it would have ended where she ended up using her smarts to overcome him. Or maybe if she were like an archer, like a really cool archer.
Yeah.
And just out hunted him.
Yeah.
And just shot him through the head or something.
Yeah, you'd think it would be something like that.
Yeah, that
instead
would be,
of the way
I'd
they
be
did
like,
it.
okay, that was great. But
Yeah.
like, it's just a little unrealistic to see a 14-year-old child. How old was she?
Well, I mean, 14 and
she
16
was
look
this
about
little,
the same.
You know what I mean?
She's actually, I think, 25.
And she fought
in real life.
the Predator.
Yeah, but she doesn't look it. She looks like a teenager.
Yeah.
And at the very end, she had a one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat scene with the Predator, and got the better of him.
Yeah.
Like, that's where, like, a lot of the movie lost me, but that is like, this is silly.
Yeah.
This is not, like, why do this with the Predator in a real situation with a Native American girl in the 1700s? Why base it in reality so much and then have the final fight scene not be based in reality at all?
At all.
Like the whole idea is you've got one thing in this realistic world that's abnormal and science fiction-y and like, oh my God, there's something else out there, and it's the Predator.
Yeah.
You can't change the qualities of the humans because then it wouldn't be in this like real world. It'd be a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Right? It'd be people got superpowers. All of a sudden, this girl couldn't win a fight the entire movie and then kills like 4 French trappers at the end with all these cartwheel kicks, and like she throws the hatchet with the rope and yanks it back, and just all of a sudden she's developed like
some kind of skills,
high level skills. Yeah, out of nowhere. Like she's developed Chinese kung fu, and she's a Native American.
Yeah,
like that's some appropriation if I ever seen it.
Yeah,
like that is literally appropriation. Like the Chinese kung fu style, where the dagger is at the end of this rope, is like a thing where they throw the dagger, and then they bring it back and they twist it up on their arm and around their body, and then fling it out the other side. Like that's literally an art form, a Chinese art form.
Wow.
And they appropriated the shit out of that in this Native American movie. Yeah.
Wow.
I never thought about that until now.
Hollywood.
Yeah. It's like, let's make it a female lead. It's like they're trying to so hard, like wokeism, like the ideologies of wokeism are so deep rooted in a lot of these writers in Hollywood rooms, right? Writers' rooms, that they make a movie about a minority group, Native Americans, and they don't really do anything for the Native American cause. Right. Like there's nothing about the Native Americans in the movie.
They were all slaughtered.
Yeah. All they did is just slaughtered.
They just killed a bunch of them.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, we'll make it a female lead who wants to do men stuff, but the men don't like her doing that stuff, so they're against her. But then at the end, she prevails and does man stuff.
Right.
Right?
Didn't they make her chief at the end, too?
Yeah.
War chief.
But then in the process, she develops a fighting style that's completely Chinese kung fu.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
And culturally appropriates.
Where was her sensei?
Sensei. Yeah. Yeah. Where was her
sensei?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah. But yeah.
He was in the wind.
Yeah.
Like
so
Pocahontas.
Like this character never changed too. Like she was selfish
Yeah.
from the very beginning, and she wanted to be a hunter, and she goes out on this hunt to find this one guy with the other guys, and the other guys are like, no, don't come with us, we don't want you. But her older brother is like, hey, she can track,
Yeah.
we can use her.
We can use her.
And so he's always had her back, right?
Right.
And then they go on the hunt, and they're hunting the mountain lion that got the one guy. Mm-hmm. And then the mountain lion jumps on the tree, knocks her off. She goes unconscious, knocks her unconscious, right? Hits her head on a rock. She wakes up in the teepee of her mom's,
Yeah.
and she's like, "What happened?" She's like, the mom is like, "Your brother rescued you, brought you back here, and then went back out to get the mountain lion."
Right.
Okay, so she gets up, she's upset, like, ah. She comes back, or she comes out, and he's coming out of the woods with the mountain lion, right? He saved the people from the dangerous mountain lion. The chief gives him the war staff, and he goes, yeah, right. And everybody's like, yeah, he did it. And she's just like,
yeah.
And she walks away pouting, and he walks up to her, and he's like, hey, we did it.
Yeah.
We got the mountain lion. She was like, look, there's something else out there, okay?
Right.
Because she had seen like the predator ship in the sky.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a separate situation.
Right. Why aren't you happy that your brother killed this mountain lion?
And he was like, you know what? We didn't do it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
He was like fed up with this girl. He was fed up with his sister, who he had backed all throughout the movie so far, right? And she couldn't, support him at all in his moment of triumph.
Right.
So he's like, you know what? Screw it.
Right.
You're on your own. So then she decides, you know what? I'm going to be the hunter that they are, and I'm going to go out seeking a hunt.
Yes.
Right? And so she leaves the tribe and goes out, finds a bear. And she's like, maybe this is what I should be hunting to prove that, like, I'm the hunter or whatever. And her poor dog's with her. Mm-hmm. I mean, that dog is... That saddest part of the movie was the dog. Because at some point, that dog, with all the way she was acting, that dog was going to die.
Was immediately going to die.
I didn't care for that dog at all.
No.
She's standing up on the cliff, and she pulls back her bow and arrow. The string snaps, right? Mm-hmm. The string snaps. The bear looks up and is like, I'm going to get your ass. Runs up the hill to her.
Yeah.
She's still trying to fix the bow. She doesn't even move.
Yeah.
That's how bad at surviving this girl is. She doesn't even move.
Right.
It's like somebody in a movie with guns, like waiting until somebody's running at them, like to rechamber, because at the last second they can shoot and kill somebody.
Right.
You ain't gonna at the last second restring your bow and kill a bear. But she stayed there and tried to restring it. The bear got 6 feet from her, right? And then all of a sudden, the dog goes, "Meow," and runs down the hill.
Right.
For some reason, this dumbass bear just runs after the dog.
Right.
It's like, in what world, if a bear comes up upon a 16-year-old girl fumbling with a string on her bow,
right,
and is 6 feet from her, is not going to eat her right there?
I don't know.
But this bear was like really fascinated with the dog.
Yeah.
So he runs down the hill after the dog, and it's like, oh, wow, the dog saved her life because she's so dumb.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that was going to happen.
And then she tries to kill the bear or whatever. It comes back, right? And they're running away. And then the predator shows up, right? Now she's running from the predator.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, the guys from the tribe have realized that she's gone. She hasn't come back, so they're going to, like, go get her. Her brother included, right? Yeah. Couple of them die on the way, get killed by the predator. Mm-hmm. And it's just her and her brother left, right? So then her brother's trying to protect her. You got these French trappers running from them. They get captured, and then they get tied up to a tree by the French trappers to trap the predator, but the predator kills all the French trappers, pretty much all of them. And then the brother and the sister get away. Now the brother's still trying
So if you were going to watch the movie...
Yeah, don't
watch the movie.
This is a
spoiler.
spoiler.
We're going to tell you everything.
And then what happens is she's tried to protect herself throughout the whole movie, fighting French trappers sometimes, and then they always overpower her, right? Mm-hmm. And then she fought one of the Native American boys, and he overpowered her, and she lost that fight. Mm-hmm. So she's lost every fight.
Yeah.
In the movie. All of a sudden, she turns into an utter badass, and she kills 4 French trappers, 4 grown men.
Right.
with her Chinese Kung Fu appropriated martial arts,
Yep.
right? In 1700 Native American Western frontier
Yes.
in the United States. And I'm like, what is going on with this movie? Then, all right, throughout this whole movie, she's still wanting to be the hunter, right?
Yes.
At no point does she decide, you know what? Maybe I should have stopped. Maybe I shouldn't have gone out on this hunt
Not once.
and gotten all these people killed.
Not once.
Not once.
No.
And now her brother is trying to defend her, and her brother gets killed by the predator.
Yeah. Like viciously.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
And then
She ran away.
she ran away. And there was no moment where she was like, why did I do this? Like, I got
Yeah.
my brother. Nothing. She's just like, I'm going to kill this predator.
Yeah.
The confidence in this girl is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And I understand you want to write a strong female lead, but one that's so confident based on nothing.
She did that hatchet thing.
At the end, though.
I don't know. She was practicing on that tree.
Yeah, she was practicing on the tree. And then at the end, she one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat, fights the predator,
Right.
gets the upper hand for a little bit, and then, she has to come back and, from adversity, fight
Right.
back from adversity,
Right.
and defeat the predator. Yes. Right, with her wits. But the character never changed. And then, the predator's dead. She puts his blood on her face,
Right.
which is glowing green, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Walks back to the tribe. The chief is the only man left.
Right.
He's the only man left. I didn't see any man. I might have to go back
Maybe
and watch it,
You.
but I didn't see any dudes.
I think there were a few.
Okay, I only saw women. And then he hands her the war staff, and she's like, "Yeah, no remorse, nothing like, I'm so sorry that I went out there and got all our men, our young men who can protect us, who are going to protect us, because she's not going to."
Yeah. Also, how are you going to have more tribe members? You just
Right.
killed your sperm bank, ma'am.
The chief has got a lot to do.
The chief has some work.
Yeah, he does.
So,
Yeah, and it's like in the attempt to be like a man, you've killed all the men except the oldest man.
maybe that was the chief's plan the whole time.
The chief is a
The
mastermind.
chief is a mastermind.
That's
He
pretty
knew
funny.
what he was
But yeah, she never changed at all. Usually, a great character, when you write it, it has a goal. The character has a goal. Mm-hmm. Tries to reach the goal. Realizes that he or she does not have all the qualities needed to reach the goal. Goes through a dark night of the soul where they realize they find that thing or they grow in some way in order to overcome and then finally reach the goal or accomplish the goal. That never happened.
Yeah.
That never happened for this girl. She never changed at all. You good?
Yeah.
And I don't understand why people love it, other than the fact that if you don't love it, people might call you a racist against Native Americans.
Yeah.
Or a misogynist,
Right.
and you hate women.
Right. I thought the CGI was cool,
Right.
but it's been a minute since, and honestly, and I don't really say this, it's been a minute since I've watched a movie and been like, this is shit. Like, this is just not good. Storyline wasn't interesting.
Yeah.
The fighting thing only happened at the end. It was very slow.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good to me.
Right.
And I don't really say that about movies, but it was the first time in a while
Yeah.
I've seen something that I really disliked that much.
Yeah. Okay. So the movie was not what all the reviews. And here's the thing. If people weren't reviewing this movie and saying it's fucking fantastic, it's the best Predator, then I wouldn't be going off like this.
Yeah.
But that's all you hear.
Right.
So then we watched the original Predator together.
Yeah.
And it was freaking awesome.
And it was great.
It still holds up.
It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
And you have Carl Weathers, yoked as fuck,
Yes.
steroided out. 50. He was 50,
I can't believe
babe.
that.
That's why
cannot
I'm getting
believe
on
that.
test. That's the number.
That's why
Carl
I'm gonna do this
Weathers,
couple cycles.
a black man, a 50-year-old black man, is the reason why I'm getting on test.
He was juiced.
I mean, he was juiced,
yeah.
and he's looked that age for about. He looked that age for like 25 years.
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack,
Isn't that what they
especially when
say?
it's juiced.
Especially a little extra TRT on the end.
Arnold was jacked as AF.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he was 36, 38. No, I think he was 40. I think
Also have done some...
full of steroids, looked great.
Looked great on those roids.
Skin was shining.
Yep.
Great skin.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these dudes are yoked with great skin.
It's thin skin.
It's like,
Thinner
what's
skin,
wrong about
but it's-
steroids? You're jacked and you got great skin. Jesse
true.
Ventura, the guy with the mustache with the big machine gun,
Yeah.
he was a professional wrestler.
Okay.
He was jacked.
He was just big.
He's a big dude, yeah.
He's a big dude.
And then who else? Even the Native American guy was pretty big. He was natural.
The brother?
No, the Native American guy, Billy. Remember, he was on the bridge and he cut his chest.
Oh,
He's like, I want to fight the predator.
Yeah.
Didn't even have a fight.
Yeah.
But even he was big, but he was natty.
Yeah.
As natty. But then the movie was great. It was a simple storyline.
Mm-hmm.
They were going in to extract some people.
Yeah.
Arnold was like, I don't know about this. Carl Weathers like, trust me. He was like, I don't trust you. This is my team.
Mm-hmm.
They get there. They realize that Carl Weathers
Couldn't be trusted.
couldn't be trusted. And so they're like, man, I don't trust you. So there's turmoil between the guys.
Groups.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden the predator starts,
Slashing.
just picking them off.
Yep.
And so it's a great story.
It's good. It's very suspenseful, but like not slow.
Yeah.
You
Not
know?
slow at all.
Not slow at all.
It's
It was
a great
movie.
pace. Yeah. But you've got these jack dudes who are fighting the predator
Right.
and getting their ass beat. Like
Right.
they don't stand a chance.
No.
Flash
Sad,
forward to Prey, the greatest Predator movie, where she beats him in hand-to-hand combat.
With a hatchet on a rope.
Does she even use that against him?
I don't know. I feel like she did.
She might have used a little bit of it, but she also like kicked him
Yeah.
and punched him,
Yeah.
which blew my mind. I was like, I'm watching insanity right now.
Man. Yeah.
I watched Arnold get his ass beat. I watched Carl Weathers get his ass beat,
Yeah.
get his arm blown off.
Yeah.
And still and yet, with a blown off arm, Carl Weathers, in one of the most classic scenes ever, reaches across
You're
his
right.
body where his no arm is, gets the gun, and tries to start shooting in slow mo before
Yep.
the predator comes to him. It's one of the best scenes in the movie, right?
It was good, yeah.
And the predator's running in slow motion at him. And right when he gets to him, predator stabs him in the gut and lifts him up. And he was like, ah! And it's like, damn, even Carl Weathers
Got to.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Arnold's the only one left.
Right.
Can he do this?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really think Arnold can get like,
Well, he's the only one that knew about the mud.
but yeah, after he got his ass beat.
No, 100%. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so he even would have been toast.
Well,
if
did they
he
get?
wouldn't have. Yeah, because remember he threw him in the lake and then he had to crawl
No,
out.
but did they fight before that?
Yes.
They fought a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then, or maybe no, he shot him. He shot at him, and he shot the gun out of his hand with the laser off his shoulder, and then that like sheared off his shoulder or something like that, and so he was crawling through the dirt, and then he slid down the hill and fell into the waterfall, and then went down the river and fell down another waterfall, and then he came into the mud.
Right.
But like up until that point,
It was.
there's
not looking
no
good.
hope.
Yeah.
Arnold had no hope.
None.
And then the mud came in, and he covered himself. Mm-hmm. And even the way they did that in Prey, it was like she was good at like herbs, like mixing herbs and stuff for healing and stuff.
Yeah.
She makes an herb concoction. Well, I think it was just one flower that she gave people, and immediately they got cold.
Right.
Right? Nothing acts that fast.
Yeah.
Nothing acts that fast. Like
Right.
immediately.
Right.
They ate it, and they were like, oh.
They should have smoked it.
Yeah, they should have smoked it. Yeah, there
That
you
would
go.
have been better.
Yeah. They could have done that.
Yeah.
she was like, yeah. Anyways, well, they didn't. And that was the way that they hid their heat signature.
Yeah, I remember.
From the Predator.
From the Predator, yeah.
Now, how she knew that,
right?
It wasn't really that clear. Like, it wasn't like, I would never have put that together.
No.
But like the way Arnold was all covered in mud and he was hiding, and the Predator didn't see him. It's like, oh, the only thing, I'm covered in mud.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Prey was really one of the worst movies I've seen.
It was pretty bad.
But a client of mine was like, "Hey, I really like the directing and the cinematography," and I was like, good. You know what? Yeah, but story, story just doesn't hold.
Yeah, should have had better writers.
Yeah, I just trashed that movie.
Womp womp.
Yeah, well, cultural appropriation.
Cultural appropriation. Chinese should be pissed.
Yeah,